Good day, good evening, good sunrise, everyone. Wherever you are in the world right now, I welcome you. I wish you love and great peace. So I'm just going to give it a few moments for people to arrive. Welcome, Lee. Welcome. It was wonderful having you on earlier, sir. Welcome. 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 I just figured that I wanted to end the evening with a little bit of meditation and some reading of the Tao Te Ching. So I see we have several viewers. Not everyone is in the chat room, but that's okay. Some people are shy. Welcome, welcome. Oh, thank you, Dark Story Man. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Okay. It's nice to take a nice deep breath. So I'm going to go ahead and get the chimes. I was about to sit there with my eyes closed for a second there. Okay, so how is everyone? I wanted to recommend two videos in case you haven't seen them. Last week, I did a video on building a crystal grid mandala. For me, crystal grids are like living art. They're like building a mandala for yourself. You heard of the Tibetan monks? They usually make sand mandalas, beautiful, intricate works of art, and using sand and little tiny funnels and knocking the sand out of the funnel to color an image and create a beautiful mandala. And I remember when I first learned about that, and as an artist, you know, taking great pride in one's work and taking the time and the energy to create a work, and to know that the work would be destroyed immediately, that was something I couldn't bear. And I remember, I can't think of who it is off the top of my head, but I just remember years ago learning about an artist whose work was very, I guess the word is ephemeral, if I'm pronouncing that right. You know it's not going to last. It exists just for a few moments in time, and then it's gone. And as a younger woman, I mean, the thought of that is just right. Recovering souls just said, just like sandcastles, and it's so true. Never even made that correlation. But the thought of doing all of that work and then for it to be destroyed was like horrific for me. But you know, as I've grown older, I began to realize, and you know, you begin to understand that nothing is permanent and that everything changes. And that ultimately, what's most important is that you've loved, that you've lived, however it is that you've lived, you've loved. That's what's important, not whether or not your piece of artwork is, you know, going to last forever. What does that even mean, lasting forever? So anyway, when I build a crystal grid, I'm building it with the idea in mind that it's like, it's a mandala, it's a work of art, it's an energetic work of art. So I invite you to check out, if you go to my channel, and in the video section, you will see how to build a crystal grid mandala. And then the next video after that is, I think it's like how to sit. It's readings from Thich Nhat Hanh, and the mandala that I built is like the image for the background as uh, as I read the book. So I just wanted to share that with you, to check out those videos and let me know what you think, okay? And, you know, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share any of the videos that touch you and you want to share. Recover Soul says, or cakes. I'm an apple pie person myself. Just see that apple pie that I posted on my Facebook page. I didn't bake it, but I sure did eat it. Right, Chris? I know Chris saw that apple pie. Anyway, so let's go ahead and take a nice, deep, centering breath and enter into this space. Okay, let's see. I'm going to bring up an image for us. I can figure out where it is while I do this reading. Just give me one moment. Just going to drop that in there. One of my favorite images. You've seen it before, but I want to share it right now. This is the image. This is a picture that I took a couple of years ago, and it is a clay pot that I had made myself out of local clay. So I'd like to share with you a little short reading before we begin. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free. May it be so. Okay. So the reading that we're going to do this evening is, let's see, get my glasses on. It is from the Tao Te Ching, of course. And it's from the 54th chapter. And I know in the chat room, we have a comment, egolessness. And, you know, we were talking about buzzwords earlier, and I think ego is one of those buzzwords. We get so many different connotations and denotations and all of that. And I will tell you right now, I am not about being ego-free. Because as long as we're on this planet, as long as we're on this earth, we have a physical body. And with that physical body, we have to feed ourselves. We have to shelter ourselves. You know, some of us choose to procreate. We have hobbies and various endeavors. We need our ego, or we would not be alive. Our ego is what, you know, we drive to protect ourselves, to serve ourselves, and to do what we need to do to take care of ourselves. The thing is, at least what I believe, we have to learn to mature our ego. We have to have a mature ego. A lot of us run around with various degrees on the spectrum of completely immature egos, and some of us have mature egos. And you know, for me, the practice of meditation, the practice, any spiritual path, is all about maturing your ego. Because the moment someone tells you that they don't have an ego, they're full of it. We all have an ego to a certain degree. Now, are we 100% driven by our egos at all times? You know, that's a baby is, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old is. Hopefully by the time you reach 30 years old, 35, 30 years old, you're not driven by an immature ego, and that your ego is mature. You understand discretion. You understand kindness. You even understand the potential and possibility of putting other people first at times when it needs to be. But I'm a big advocate of, you know, having a mature ego, but not totally negating the ego. Otherwise, you would walk outside naked and allow yourselves to get struck by lightning in a thunderstorm. So, but that's just my take. I know everybody has a different take on it. So let's get back to the reading of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu, and we're looking at the reading by Gia Fu Feng and Jane English, chapter 54. And I'm going to release this image, because I always like to show the book that I'm reading from. So there we go. And here, beautiful. Oh, it's a beautiful, it's like the stump of a tree and the tree bark, tree trunk, tree roots. It reminds me, I was looking up Thoreau today, and on Amazon I saw there was a book, Thoreau and Trees, all about Thoreau and trees. So looking forward to that book. It's written by someone named Higgins. They did a lot of research on Thoreau and really talked about his love of trees. So here we go. What is firmly established cannot be uprooted. What is firmly grasped cannot slip away. It will be honored from generation to generation. Cultivate virtue in yourself, and virtue will be real. Cultivate it in the family, and virtue will abound. Cultivate it in the village, and virtue will grow. Cultivate it in the nation, and virtue will be abundant. Cultivate it in the universe, and virtue will be everywhere. Therefore, look at the body as body. Look at the family as family. Look at the village as village. Look at the nation as nation. Look at the universe as universe. How do I know the universe is like this? By looking. There you go. That is beautiful. This was actually published, I think, in 1972. That's when this magazine size book was only $2.95. Can you believe that? $2. And I mean, this is nice, thick quality paper. Love a well-published book. So we're looking at chapter 54. And this is Stephen Mitchell. Okay. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. Let the Tao be present in your life, and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family, and your family will flourish. Let it be present in your country, and your country will be an example to all countries in the world. Let it be present in the universe, and the universe will sing. How do I know this is true? By looking inside myself. Did we hear that verse? How do we know? Lao Tzu asked, how do we know? How does he know? How do I know? How do you know if these words are true? By looking inside yourself, myself. That's awesome. I need to clean my glasses. I apologize. It kind of looked like I was looking through a veil of smoke. It was driving me crazy. All right. 54. And this is Stephen Addis and Stanley Lombardo. Okay, 54. Well planted, not uprooted. Well embraced, never lost. Descendants will continue the ancestral rituals. Maintain oneself. Day becomes real. Maintain the family. Day becomes abundant. Maintain the community. Day becomes extensive. Maintain the country. Day becomes prolific. Maintain the world. Day becomes omnipresent. Therefore, through self, contemplate self. Through family, contemplate family. Through community, contemplate community. Through country, contemplate country. Through world, contemplate world. How do I know the world? Itsu'u, like this. There you go. And last but not least, Tao Te Ching, translated by John C.H. Wu. And this is chapter 54. There you go. Just so you can see what I'm reading from. Chapter 54. What is well planted cannot be uprooted. What is well embraced cannot slip away. Your descendants will carry on the ancestral sacrifice for generations without end. Cultivate virtue in your own person, and it becomes a genuine part of you. Cultivate it in the family, and it will abide. Cultivate it in the community, and it will live and grow. Cultivate it in the state, and it will flourish abundantly. Cultivate it in the world, and it will become universal. Hence, a person must be judged as a person, a family as family, a community as community, a state as state, the world as world. How do I know about the world? By what is within me. Now, it kind of got a little goosebumps on my arms. Either that or I'm cold. How do I know about the world? By what is within me. So there you go. So these are the 4 different translations. And for those of you who are new, I use 4 different translations because, you know, as a non-Chinese speaker, you know, translations are translations. They're not original words. And when whoever approaches a work, whoever approaches a work to translate, they're translating it and sometimes interpreting it on their own accord. And so having 4 different perspectives, you know, it kind of gives you an idea of what the original more likely was. And his conscious tone says, yes, the last sentence, it sums it up. However many was Lao Tzu, like 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 600? I have no idea. I have to look it up. I don't remember. But even then, he was saying that it is all within us. Even the world that we look out upon and see what is going on, it is all within us. So the issues that are going on in the world, they're issues that are going on with us. You know, that struggle of the ego, you know, the immature ego struggling to constantly and demanding to be heard when it might best work with being a little more discreet and laying back. And that's all about what the Tao, you know, going the way, the path, the life, is learning how to work with the energy that surrounds us. But most importantly, I believe, and I know for myself, is learning how to work with the energy that is within us, that is within me. And yeah, so there we go. So I'm going to go ahead, since we haven't done this, I can't even remember the last time, probably the last video. Going to go ahead and pick an aspect of the divine feminine today. Just want to share one aspect of the sacred feminine, and then I'm going to do a short reading from my journal. Oh, let's see. Okay. I'll have to put my glasses on to read that. And Michael Bay says, all the prophets and the messengers all said to go within. And that is very true. Very true. I think I need some kind of spritz for my glasses. Okay. So we have the Erinyes. Erinyes. They kind of look like screeching banshees. There we go. This is crisis. This crisis, which is probably a good card to have jumped out today, being, you know, what is going on in New York right now. Crisis, whatever the origin of the crisis or so-called crisis, however you want to look at it, it's still a crisis nonetheless, and it's all about how we respond to a crisis. So let's look this one up. Now, I don't know if it's starting with the T, but I remember from elementary school when you're looking up the, you skip the and go right to the word. So let's see. I don't know if that's going to hold true. A, B, C, D, E. Let's see if that holds true. Yeah, I was right. All I needed to learn is what I learned in kindergarten. So the Erinyes, crisis. We snap you, crack you, flapjack you. We are that wild, chaotic place, that sharp edge, the point that activates your fears, the point of no return, the point where anything can happen. We always demand your death or complete surrender. You can't get beyond us around us, or over us. You must meet us and go through us. We are the cosmic steamroller, the place of greatest opportunity. We are crisis. The Erinyes were the forces of retribution, personified as three immortal dark maiden goddesses. They took revenge and punished anyone who killed their kin in matriarchal pre-Hellenic Greece. In poet Aeschylus' play, the Orestes, the son of Clytemnestra, and Agamemnon kills his mother, thus enraging the Erinyes who go after him. When his trial results in a deadlock, Athena, goddess of wisdom, is called to cast the deciding vote. Her vote sets Orestes free from any punishment for the matricide. The Erinyes, unappeased, demand vengeance. Athene consoles them with promises of special rituals in their honor. They are then renamed the Eumenides, or kindly ones, meaning of the card. The Erinyes are howling after you because you and or a loved one are in crisis. The way to nurture wholeness for you now lies in reaching out and asking for help, whether it is from the human, animal, or spiritual kingdom. Help is required at this juncture. Excess psyche breaking stress and instability. Identify and name the kind of crisis you are in. If your crisis is psychological, call a crisis hotline or make an appointment with a healer of psyches. If your crisis is financial or job related, seek financial assistance or find a career counselor. If it involves your health, visit a healthcare practitioner. It is vital for you to get the help and support you need, for you are not in a place where you can help yourself. Do something or ask a friend or loved one to do it for you. Crisis in your life also brings the experience of crisis into the lives of your loved ones. Don't blame yourself or try to take care of them. Be selfish. Deal with your crisis and let them deal with theirs. The Erinyes say all crises are accelerated growth, transformation points that bring opportunities. However, before you get to the opportunity, you must get through the crisis. And for that, you must reach out for help. So this is kind of interesting. Now, for those of you who are familiar with what went on today at the Port Authority, okay, it does not directly, and I can only speak for myself, so that is why I'm taking this time to just share this experience. So we all know at the Port Authority today, I guess someone had a pipe bomb. And this morning, when I was, getting my morning together, and I happened to look at Facebook, and then I saw that there had been a pipe bomb at the Port Authority. Excuse me, I didn't mean to open my eyes so wide. And I'll have to say that it kind of immediately threw me into a mother's panic, to be honest, because it's winter time. It is winter break is about to start, and I have a son in grad school, and I have two sons in college, and all three of them must travel through the Port Authority in order to get home. And immediately, I was like, and I was really trying to keep myself from going into an emotional tizzy, an emotional panic. and to help me with that, the first thing I did, anytime there's any kind of issues involving my children, I always call their father up. Yeah, we've been divorced and et cetera, but you know, we're still family. And if there's an issue I have with the children or anything, I immediately call him up to get his feedback. So I did that. And then after I spoke with him and he calmed me down, I texted my friend Chris because I needed a little extra assurance, you know, from the masculine energy and from the feminine energy. And, you know, it's interesting that this crisis card comes up. My sensei, my teacher, my Buddhist minister teacher, you know, when I was going through a really difficult time in my life, and I had asked him if he could help me to kind of work through this. And I figured with him being a retired psychology professor and as well as a Buddhist minister, you know, he could help me. And you've heard me mention before on a couple of different videos that I've done here. And he told me, he basically said the word crisis in Japanese is created with two different kanjis, two different, you know, Chinese symbols. One means danger and the other means opportunity. So just as it was stated here in the Goddess Oracle, you know, crises, there's danger, but there's an opportunity. And, you know, there's an opportunity for you to reach out to friends and families to ask for help. And the most important thing is that no matter what crises you're dealing with, even if it's a crisis like the one this morning that didn't directly physically touch me, it did emotionally. Now I could have just buried that feeling, suppressed it, and tried to act like, you know, oh, I'm so spiritually advanced, I can handle this. No, I am the first to recognize when I need help, and I have no shame or no ego when it comes to, you know, needing help. You know, you reach out, and by reaching out, we make a connection with another person, because who knows, that other person might have had an issue or could have been thinking about the same thing or whatever. And when they see your vulnerability, it just reminds them that, you know what, it's okay to recognize and address your vulnerabilities and to reach out. So I know I can get on a soapbox. All right, so before we end this session, before we end this section, I'm going to do a quick little reading, and let me just check the chat room. Let's see. I have to figure out how to, all right, chat room, here I come. Mac El Bay says, my darkest days gave me my clarity. That is so true. Mac Bay also says, many don't have the light because they are scared of their own darkness. Yeah. Let me, so this is just a little sharing from my journal. And this is from August 28th, 2013. Putting on the glasses just makes everything pop. Okay. So there's the page. I'll share that with you. There's nothing overtly personal there, so I don't mind sharing it. At least I don't think there is. So August 28th, 2013. Continuing on the journey. Keep going. No rose-colored glasses. I suffer because the world suffers. Each moment I attempt to awaken just a little more each day, each day, each step on the way to remembering oneness. We are all one, just pretending that we are not. Even when that, even when we pretend and sleep makes us hurt, we continue on our way. Oh, even when we pretend to sleep, it makes us hurt, we continue on our way. Awake, wake up, I say to my soul. Through the veil, I see dimly. I feel each ache and creak. I know the sun rise just beyond, yonder, beyond. I smile and gasho. And just for those who may not know, this is a gasho, gasho. But then I remember to breathe. Breathe in deeply. Breathing brings in that breath of energy, which enlivens us and keeps us bold. Step 1 and 2, and back again. Every day is a good day. The moon waxes and wanes. The sun rises and sets. We start as buds to bloom, to wither, and back again. Every day is a good day. The baby smiles. The old woman remembers. Love, compassion, one. All else is commentary. So there we go. So does anyone have anything they would like to share before we bring this recording to an end? How about I will pull us a card today from our new deck, the Four Agreements. That might be nice. Remember, you can check about 3-4 videos back. I did a review. Okay, all right, Chris, I see that. I wasn't planning on it, but now that you pulled it out of me, I'll do that. Okay, okay. All right, so I'm just gonna pull us a card from the Four Agreements. Still haven't located my little green book. It's somewhere. But I highly recommend that you type in the Four Agreements PDF, and you'll, at the very least, you'll get a list with the Four Agreements and their paragraph, and it's a wonderful tool for a contemplation. Here we go. I noticed that someone in the room said something about authentically you, or authentic, and there you go. Be yourself around others. The biggest assumption that humans make is that everyone sees life the way we do. We assume that others think the way we think, feel the way we feel, judge the way we judge, and abuse the way we abuse. We are afraid to be ourselves around others because we think others will judge us, victimize us, abuse us, and blame us as we do ourselves. And this is from the agreement of don't make assumptions. How many of us are afraid to be ourselves around other people? Afraid of being judged, afraid of not being loved if we be ourselves. There you go. Okay. So I will pull a card for Music Heals Me. Earth Magic. Where's my Earth Magic deck? Earth Magic. This is a really cute little deck. Here you go. If you want to check it out, Earth Magic. Make sure if you look on Amazon to get the deck that it says Earth Magic deck, because there is also an Earth Magic book as well. I don't have that book, but I do have the deck. All right. Yeah. Conscious Tone says we can never control what others do or say. The only thing in our power is our attitude towards it. That is so true. So this is for you. Music heals me. Drop into your heart center. You know, that heart math, that heart center. As we touched the other day, the heart is extremely powerful. It is extremely powerful. You know, learning to how powerful our heart is and attending to our heart space, because it is our heart energy that really connects all of us. You know, it's like, as Sophia Stewart had mentioned the other day in our program, when she said, I think it was one of the first things she said, it's like whenever there's a crisis in our country or in our community, you know, that's when people, they drop everything and come together. You know, it's when crisis happens and we're there to support and help each other, which I think is a beautiful thing. But if you think about it, why do we need a crisis? To remind us of our humanity and for our connection with each other. So hopefully, with intention, we can, you know, eventually break out of that mode of operating, that we need a crisis to bring us together, and that in everyday life, we can start truly understanding the value of coming together. Okay, so this is for you, Music Heals Me. I'm going to pull this card for you. Okay. Music heals me. It's interesting that this card should come up. It's all about assumptions and the way we see things. So this one is Milky Way and is all about perspective. Weren't we just discussing that we all have different perspectives, different ways of seeing things, different ways that we do everything, and we assume that the other person next to us feels exactly the same way about us. So the way we judge ourselves, we're expecting others to judge us. So there we go. So this is for you. Music heals me. Just want to look this up. Milky Way. The Milky Way is said to be one of billions of galaxies in the observable universe. It contains between 200 to 400 billion stars, and the one most familiar to us being the Sun. The oldest star in our exact galaxy is 13.2 billion years old, said to be nearly as old as the universe itself. And the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Distances are measured in light years, and the Milky Way galaxy is believed to be 100,000 light years in diameter. The enormity and vastness stagger the mind, and challenge the imagination. Yet it also gives us some notion of where we fit in all of this. Considered from this perspective, our usual frame of reference is put to the task. We're faced with the choice of abandoning our myopic vision in favor of seeing and accepting the bigger picture. Or we can just allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by a sense of smallness and helplessness, yet know that we are composed of material from these very stars that inhabit the Milky Way. Thus, we're connected to Earth and the entire universe at all times in life and in death. Lately, I hadn't really been reading from the book, but for whatever reason, this evening, I just decided that I would read from the book. And I like this card that I pulled, that, you know, we pulled out for Your Music Heals Me. And this is all about perspective. And one of the things I really appreciated in the reading, that it connected us to the earth. You know, we're made of this earth stuff, but we're also connected with the stars. And what popped into my mind as I read that is the fact that our cerebral spinal fluid that goes from our cerebellum on down to our, you know, our sacrum, it contains biophotons, particles of light. We are indeed made of star stuff. And even though this is for You, Music Heals Me, don't mean to hijack your card and you know, make this right. Yeah, yeah. She says, wow, so scalar in totality. We are biophotons. And the other thing that I learned is that our fascia, not only does the cerebral spinal fluid kind of flow out into, you know, our cranial cavity, a very thin lining in there. It also, little bits of it pumps out into our fascia. And so I take from that that we actually literally do have a light body. Because if we have biophotons in our cerebral spinal fluid, and if our cerebral spinal fluid also pumps out into our fascia. And the fascia, for those who are may not be familiar, if any of you have ever cooked chicken thigh, chicken breast, you know, just underneath the skin, under the layer of fat, there's this thin membrane. That's the fascia, and it covers all of our muscles, entire body, everywhere. That covers our entire muscles. Then underneath our muscles, on the bone, there's fascia that cover the bone. So the cerebral spinal fluid and its biophotons coursing up and down our spine also flows out, minute part, you know, quantity of it flows out into our fascia, thus covering us in a body of light. So that being said, there are billions of stars and billions of people and one of each and every one of us, and we have so many different perspectives. It's so easy to get caught up and think that the next person is thinking like us, and therefore they have the same judgments and neuroses that we do. And of course, that makes us afraid. But we have to remember that, you know, we are not alone, and that we all have different perspectives. And those different perspectives, if we're willing to listen to them, Music Heals Me, it helps us all to heal. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this show to an end. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Ask if you will please remember to thumbs up this video, because it helps with the YouTube algorithms and all of that fancy mathematical stuff that it does behind the scenes. So ask that you will like this video, thumbs up, share it, and please remember to subscribe and click the notification so that you're notified whenever we go live. And also, if you didn't see, please check out the video interview that Chris Monet and I did with the lovely, amazing, the original Oracle and Mother of the Matrix, Sophia Stewart. Check down there and you'll see the link to the rest of the videos. So let's see. So I thank each and every one of you for being here. Remember to breathe. Remember that peace begins and ends with you, with me, with all of us. I wish you peace and great bliss. Thank you.